Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're diving deep into something that's really changing a fundamental part of your life, banking. We're talking about this huge transformation in digital banking, especially in 2024, and it's mostly, powered by artificial intelligence. Our main source here is this really interesting report, AI Gold Rush, 21 digital banking AI case studies in CX transformation. That's a customer experience transformation. And our mission really is to unpack how AI went from this kind of future experiment to, the actual engine of digital banking today and what that means for you.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating how fast it happened. AI moved from being, speculative, maybe a side project, to suddenly being core strategy in finance. The numbers, they really tell the story. I mean, global AI adoption hit 78% in 2024. That's way up from, 20% back in 2017?
Wow, 70%.
And banking. Banking is really leading the charge here. An incredible 91% of bank boards, they formally approved Gen AI programs. So it's not just a tech upgrade, it's like foundational now for survival, for growth.
Right, 91%. That really frames it. So you'd say 2024 was the real tipping point then. What made that year so different?
Absolutely. 2024, that was the year. It wasn't just, another year of progress. AI stopped being the side thing and became the actual engine. And that was supercharged by, generative models, obviously, like the ChatGPT tech getting inside banks, but also this huge investment rush.
Investment rush. How much are we talking?
Well, in 2024 alone, banking poured about $31.3 billion into AI. That makes it the second biggest industry globally for AI spending. Just massive amounts of money.
31 billion. Okay, that's staggering. But how does that kind of money, actually change my day-to-day banking? What do I see?
Okay, great question. So zooming out, these huge numbers, they show AI isn't just making banks faster internally. It's fundamentally changing how millions, literally millions of people interact with their banks. It lets banks scale up customer support massively, kind of without dropping the quality, hopefully.
Right.
Take Bank of America, right? Their AI assistant, Erica? Heard of Erica?
Yeah, I think so.
It handled 676 million interactions in 2024.
676 million.
Million, yeah. Not a typo. And overall, BofA clients had 26 billion digital interactions. That's up 12% in just 1 year. And over in the UK, NatWest, their AI, Cora, handled 11.2 million chats last year. That's basically the same number as all their call centers and branches combined.
Wow. So AI is basically handling as much volume as the entire human staff in some cases. That's incredible. But okay, you mentioned a survey, J.D. Power. People are optimistic, sure, but they still want trust, empathy, right?
Yeah.
How do banks square that circle? Are we really trusting AI with more than just checking a balance?
That's the crucial bit. The survey found, I think, 72% agreed AI makes self-service easy and convenient. That's good for getting people to use it, but trust, especially for actual financial advice, that's a whole different level, which is why banks are trying to make the AI interactions feel more human. And importantly, often pairing AI insights with a human check. We can dig into that more.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. So digging in, what does this mean for your actual experience? We found, 5 key areas where AI is really shaking things up for bank customers. First one, making banking truly personal, tailored just for you. And the demand for that, it's huge. I mean, 71% of us expect personalized experiences from our banks. And get this, 76% get frustrated when they don't get it. So it's not optional anymore, it's expected.
Exactly. And AI is what makes it possible at scale. Banks use machine learning, predictive analytics, all that stuff to crunch your data and offer, the report calls it one-size-fits-one experiences. It's not just ads. It's trying to figure out what you need next.
Like anticipating needs.
Precisely. And the results. They're seeing double-digit boosts in revenue, customer satisfaction, and campaign conversions. That's pretty significant. So Wells Fargo, for example, uses AI for dynamic content on their site. First Horizon Bank predicts client needs. And your banking app, it might give you AI insights now, like, hey, unusual spending here, or this bill looks higher, or maybe suggesting budget tweaks, all tailored to you.
That sounds really useful, actually. But you mentioned trust earlier. If only, 27% fully trust AI for actual financial guidance? Doesn't that slow things down if you still need a human to sign off on sensitive advice? How do banks balance that? AI speed versus human trust?
That's the tightrope they're walking. The smart approach seems to be using AI to assist the human advisor, not replace them entirely for the complex stuff. So the AI does the number crunching, finds the personalized insights, then the human advisor steps in. They validate it, add that empathy layer, build the trust. It's augmentation, really.
Augmentation, not replacement. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Trust is everything with money. Which kind of leads into the second big area. Self-service is just taking over. DIY banking, you could call it. People seem to want to do it themselves online. Digital banking users hit 77% of checking account customers last year. And it's not just convenience, right? 67% actually prefer self-service to talking to a person for many things.
Yeah, and AI makes that self-service way smarter, more intuitive. It powers those chatbots and virtual assistants you see everywhere now. Look at Nubank in Brazil, wildly successful digital bank. 80% of their customers sort things out digitally themselves, paying bills, travel notices, you name it. Bank of America's Erica, we mentioned her. She handles money transfers right in the app now. And Wells Fargo's got Fargo. Their new assistant saw 245 million interactions in its first year, just simplifying everyday banking tasks.
Right.
And for the banks, huge cost savings. Globally, chatbots are estimated to save something like $7.3 billion in customer service costs.
$7 billion. Okay. So it handles the simple stuff fast.
Yeah.
But didn't that J.D. Power survey find satisfaction drops if the self-service tools can't handle detailed questions? Does that mean AI is good for basics, but we still need humans for anything tricky?
It does highlight that limitation, yeah. AI is fantastic for routine stuff, quick answers, but for complex, nuanced issues, it still needs refining. The goal isn't zero human interaction. It's about letting customers instantly solve common problems themselves, which then frees up the human agents to tackle the really complex, high-value conversations where their expertise really matters. It's about optimization.
Gotcha. Optimizing human time. And a lot of that self-service ability comes from banks being more proactive with you, right? It's the third area. AI is flipping banking from reactive, you call them with a problem, to proactive, where they reach out first.
Exactly. It's a big shift. BOFA customers logged in 14.3 billion times last year, and nearly 38 million of them signed up for proactive alerts. These AI-driven alerts sent almost 12 billion personalized notifications, things like low balance warnings, spotting unusual charges, before they become a headache.
12 billion notifications. That's a lot of nudges.
It is, and NatWest's Cora Plus is getting more conversational, guiding people. Capital One's Eno texts you proactively about potential fraud or duplicate charges. AI helps create what they call omnichannel fluidity, a smooth experience moving between the app, the website, maybe a chat. It all feels connected. And the bank's doing this well. They're seeing higher net promoter scores, NPS, that loyalty metric, because they're anticipating needs, not just reacting.
That proactive stuff sounds great for staying on top of finances.
Right.
Is there a risk, though, of it feeling a bit much, like too intrusive? Crossing a line?
That's definitely a valid concern. The best systems let you customize alerts type, frequency. It's a balance. Banks are learning that effective proactivity means giving value without feeling like Big Brother's watching your account constantly. Yeah. The idea is to be like, silent guardian maybe, not a nagging parent.
Huh. A silent guardian. Okay, fourth area, and maybe the most visible one, customer support automation. AI just taking care of things super fast.
Yeah, the scale here is just wild. By late 2024, estimates were nearly 1 billion people worldwide using AI chatbots for various services. Banking's a huge part of that. Bank of America's Erica. Over 2.5 billion interactions total since launch. NatWest Cora, we said 11.2 million chats last year. That matched their human-assisted volume.
Yeah.
Yeah. And satisfaction seems high. 89% satisfied with Gen AI virtual assistants. 73% trust content written by AI, which is interesting. So the benefits are clear. Shorter waits, faster fixes for common stuff, handling routine questions, which again frees up human staff for the harder problems.
Okay, incredible efficiency. But are these AI helpers giving really deep answers, or is the satisfaction high just because they quickly handle basic things like, what's my balance?
Probably a bit of both. For routine tasks, balance checks, transfers, password resets, they're super effective, fast, accurate, people like that. For the more complex stuff, many banks use that human-in-the-loop model. The AI might handle the initial chat, gather info, even summarize it for a human agent if you need to escalate. So the handover is smooth, you don't repeat yourself. So yeah, efficiency for the simple and smoother support, ideally, for the complex.
Right, that seamless handover is key. Okay, finally, the fifth area. This one feels important, but maybe less talked about. Enhancing accessibility. AI making banking more inclusive. I mean, it feels like just yesterday, the idea of my bank predicting my bills was sci-fi. Now AI is actually helping level the playing field.
It really is. This is where AI can truly humanize the digital experience, making sure nobody gets left behind. Think about it. AI can detect if you're struggling to navigate an app and maybe offer simpler instructions or switch to a voice mode. Personalization means interfaces can adapt in real time to what you need.
How?
Well, AI voice assistants are massive for people who prefer speaking or have visual impairments. Real-time transcription and translation breaks down language barriers, helps the hearing impaired. Even things like AI image recognition for paying bills by phone camera or depositing checks makes it easier for people who find manual input tricky.
Hmm.
In the US, big banks use AI tools to actually test and fix accessibility problems on their platforms. In the UK, there are collaborations with Fintech specifically to help users with dyslexia. It's that curb cut effect idea you design for a specific need, like a dropped curb for wheelchairs, but it ends up helping everyone, like people with strollers or suitcases. Accessibility features often make things better for all users.
That's a fantastic point. Designing for the edges benefits the center.
Okay.
Let's make this really concrete. Let's talk specific banks and what they're actually doing.
Yeah.
Because they're not just talking AI, they're deploying it and getting some pretty amazing results. It feels like a new financial ecosystem is emerging.
Definitely. The report has some great examples. First, JPMorgan Chase, 2024, they rolled out an internal tool like their own chat GPT called the LLM Suite. It's for about 50,000 wealth management employees. It's going to be more productive, brainstorm ideas, write research reports faster, summarize documents, a big internal boost.
So that's AI helping the employees be better. Interesting.
Exactly. Then you have Klarna, also 2024. Their Gen AI assistant handles, get this, 2/3 of all their customer service chats now. Resolves issues in under 2 minutes. Used to be 11 minutes.
Wow, 11 down to 2.
Right. And customer satisfaction is apparently on par with human agents. They estimate this adds $40 million to their annual profit, direct bottom line impact from better CX.
$40 million. Okay. What else?
How about the Commonwealth Bank of Australia? They went for a big, holistic Gen AI transformation. Result, a 50% drop in customer scam losses. They used AI tools like NameCheck and CollarCheck to spot scams, also cut reported fraud cases by 30%. And bonus call center wait times dropped 40%, so security and service improved.
50% reduction in scam losses. That's huge for customer trust and safety.
Absolutely. And one more, focusing on inclusion, Upstart. Their AI loan platform in 2024 led to 44% more loan approvals, but at 36% lower average interest rates for the same level of risk. This opened up credit significantly for underserved groups. 35% more Black borrowers approved, 46% more Hispanic borrowers, and over 80% of their loans get approved instantly. That's AI directly tackling financial inclusion.
Those are really powerful examples. Shows the sheer breadth of AI's impact productivity, cost saving, better service, security, and actually expanding access to finance. It's definitely not just minor tweaks anymore. It's fundamental change.
Yeah, these aren't small adjustments. They're saving billions, making banking safer, and genuinely opening doors for more people.
So AI is clearly booming, but you mentioned earlier it's not happening at the same pace everywhere. And there are challenges, right? Can you talk a bit about those regional differences and the hurdles banks still need to clear?
Sure. Yeah, adoption varies quite a bit. If you look at enterprise AI globally, countries like India, the UAE, Singapore, China, they're often ahead. Around 50–60% adoption. Western nations like Australia, Spain, France are often lower, maybe in the high 20s%. The US and UK are kind of in the middle.
Why the difference?
A lot comes down to national policy, regulation. Europe has stricter rules like GDPR, and the new AI Act is coming. That can mean a more cautious, maybe slower rollout compared to the US or China. Then you have places like the UAE with explicit national AI strategies pushing things forward.
Okay, so regulation is a big factor. What other major challenges are banks grappling with? Especially around, our data and potential bias in these AI systems. It must be a constant worry.
It absolutely is. Big hurdles remain. Navigating those complex regulations is one. Managing the risks, like how do you ensure your AI isn't biased against certain groups? That's huge. And data privacy is paramount.
Yeah.
Banks can't just dump sensitive customer info into public AI models. They need secure, private systems. There was a note about the UK, where only 9% of bank execs felt ready for upcoming AI rules. Shows there's still uncertainty and a need for clear guidance. So banks are really focused on building AI that's not just smart, but also fair, transparent, and secure, especially with financial data.
Right, responsible innovation, that feels key. So wrapping things up a bit, 2024 was clearly pivotal. AI moved from pilots to real-world impact, improving the customer experience in tangible ways. And the numbers back it up. The Capgemini study linking AI and CX to real gains. 10% more revenue, 20% higher customer satisfaction, 13% lower costs. This was a win-win. Yes, there are challenges, trust, security, bias, but the overall direction seems overwhelmingly positive. AI is now a major way banks compete.
Absolutely. Connecting it all, AI isn't just tweaking banking processes anymore. It's fundamentally reshaping the whole customer journey, making it smoother, more proactive, hopefully more meaningful. And this is just the start, really. Projections show global Gen AI spending in banking could hit like $85 billion by 2030. The age of AI in banking is well and truly here. The whole sector is set for massive transformation, and, the competitive bar is way higher now. Customers will notice and likely move towards banks that keep innovating with AI.
This deep dive really hammered home how AI is quietly but dramatically rewriting banking rules. Faster payments, safer transactions, personalization, better access. It feels like a genuinely new era. It's happening now.
So as AI gets deeper into our financial lives, here's something to think about. How much more personal, maybe even invisible, and definitely more proactive will your banking become? And what new responsibilities does that put on you to really understand and manage this evolving digital financial footprint?